Hi there, Sandra here. Thanks for joining me today. I have a card for you for Easter today. Now this is not a religious card particularly, it's Easter egg themed. So if the religious type is what you're after, then don't bother watching this particular video. But if you want something a little more grown up in Easter egg theme things, then this might well be for you. I've got some layers here and I have to start stacking them. Now I did this card yesterday and I found a couple of little improvements I could make, so I have already adjusted the file. I'm using a glue stick for the simple reason it's actually easier to do on something like that where it's so easy to get into a complete and utter mess with liquid glues. Now be aware with this particular design, obviously it has a vertical position. So there we go. And I've still managed to get glue somewhere else. It's just going to be one of those days. Right, next up is my ring, and try to make sure I line this up properly with the hole. And then lastly this one. Now I've done it with a glitter paper, which is actually quite a thick, good quality glitter paper, but it's not rough, it's still very smooth, so it's easy to cut on the cutting machine. It doesn't damage your blades in the same way that the really rough stuff does. And just got to try and line that up with the corners. I have a piece of foam which I have cut out in the egg shape, and you'll notice that it has notches top and bottom, and there's a very good reason for that. It's because I need to put some fishing twine through it. So this needs to go through those notches, right? Because that is the center point. And if you don't put it through those notches and it goes somewhere else, the card doesn't work properly. So I need to get some tape and just tape that in place. So as you can see, that lies in the notch there and in the notch there. And you need to make sure that it stays in that position. And then I can put some double-sided tape on here. That is very, very sticky. So now I have some eggs which I've got cut out. Now this design came from Pixabay, this egg. I just thought it was so nice and relatively sophisticated for an Easter egg design. So that's one side of that. And then on the other side, I'm going to put this one. So again, more tape, stick it together. Now, one thing I forgot was when I amended the file, on this piece of the cardboard, I put a little, tiny little hole, only 1 millimeter. And the idea was that you could actually thread that thread there through the hole. But of course, I've already put my covers on and therefore I can't do that. However, the reason I put it there was simply to be able to line it up. So that does at least enable that function for me. I can make sure that if that is in the center, that still goes over that hole properly, so that it's vertical there. And if I get hold of this one and make sure that goes over that hole there, I have got it centered up properly and I can tape it in place. So I've got this all put together, and this has a lovely range of movement. If you were to put it in front of somewhere where there's no window, it would be able to move. You can, if you want to, twist it up, and then of course when someone opens it, it will untwist. Now I finished this off by doing just a little bit of glitter pen on here and on the one on the back. Sentiment is entirely up to you. I'm not going to offend people by putting something that I might put on something like this when, yeah, someone who's religious might actually be offended by it. Okay, but I can think of quite a few little sentiments that I could put on something like this. It's a great Easter card for chocolate lovers, obviously, particularly if they're on a diet because you can't eat it. I will see you again soon. Take care now.